Welcome to Packet Pilots. In today's session I will show you how LACP can work over another ISP Layer 2 service, depending on certain criteria. In the diagram, we will start off with a point-to-point over the test routers over port GE0 and AE0. You can see that AE0 has no LACP enabled yet, but is configured as point-to-point Layer 3 and port GE0 as child interface for AE0. Looking at the PCAP on GE0, you will see the ping across the link. There will also be no Ethernet tagging at this point. Notice beside the ping there is no other traffic at the moment. LACP will now be enabled on router 1 first. You will notice on the PCAP that LACP frames are now sent over the link. Now we enable LACP on router 2 as well. Note that LACP frames are untagged or with no Ethernet tagging. This is important to keep in mind when you ever want to extend LACP over some third-party L2 service. The important part is the port mode that you would get. Ask yourself the question if your switch sends out LACP frames as native or untagged to third-party service, that is how they would receive the frame as well. In the next example, I will enable Ethernet tagging on both routers to show will there be any impact on the LACP frames. I will just add Ethernet tag 10 between the two routers. Running the show LACP interfaces command show that LACP is still up. You will see now the ping is still working, and on the PCAP it shows ping traffic is tagged with Ethernet tag 10. You will see on the PCAP that LACP frames are still native or untagged even if we now have Ethernet tagging enabled. In the next step, we will detach port GE0 between the two routers and connect them to an ISP running a Layer 2 EVPN service. The ISP are the top part of the diagram. Port GE0 on the test routers will connect to port 1 on the ISP switches, which in this case would be an access port. In the output, you can see LACP is in the distributing state, meaning it is sending and receiving LACP keeper lines between the test routers over the Layer 2 service. Just for demonstration, we have detached port GE0 on test router 1 to show LACP going down. After reattach, LACP is back up again. Now let's run a ping and see if we can get communication across the service. It seems it is not working. It could be because the point-to-point layer 3 is still Ethernet tagged, and the layer 2 EVPN port is access only. That could explain why LACP is working between the two routers, but not L3 via tagging. Let's look at a PCAP done on the P router links carrying the EVPN traffic. As per PCAP, you can see the LACP frames are sent across with a VLAN of 821. That is the ISP VLAN in which the end-to-end service traffic will be tagged. Keep in mind that between the ISP switches and test routers, it is an access port. This means that the LACP frames are received by the ISP as untagged or native, then tagged with their own VLAN ID and sent over the network. We will also now remove the Ethernet tagging from the point-to-point layer 3 so that we can send a ping across the EVPN service. As you can see, the ping is working now. Let's do another PCAP on the P router transit link and look at the ping packet. Here you can see the ping packet with the ISP VLAN ID only, meaning that the ping is also now sent as native or untagged. As per current output, LACP is still up and working fine. In this demonstration, we showed you it is possible to extend LACP over other layer 2 services. It is however important if the service provider can carry those native or untagged traffic for you. If you interconnect using a tagged interface between you and the ISP, it will be unlikely in that you will be able to run LACP. In more videos to come, we will explore more ways or possible workarounds for this. Hope you learned something today. Cheers!